Hello, folks. I'm back again with more ancient cosmography. Um, so I was showing this one before last time, I guess, and I think I got something to actually get a better gander at it somewhere here. Is this it? Yeah. So these are all on, well, not this is from Lascaux, but a lot of these other ones are from this map, the 5,500-year-old Tomb 100 at Hierakonpolis. So a lot of these things are not super obvious. The avatars, the mainland is obvious. This is obviously North America, South America, Central America, West Africa, Southern Africa, Antarctic Peninsula, Siberia, China. I think China is this and this. I'm not sure exactly. But, at least a lot of this stuff, Greenland, this stuff is very obvious. So the avatars for the islands are more stylized, but you can figure them out based on where they are vis-a-vis the mainland. And so, that's how I know this is Cuba here. This is Hispaniola. That's how I know this is Britain and Ireland, and that this is the Faroes and Shetland, and this is the Azores, and this is Madeira, and these are islands off the coast of West Africa and Guinea-Bissau. And that these are the I guess, what is it? These are the Falklands. This is Japan. This is the Kuril Islands, and Taiwan and Leizhou and Hainan. And so anyway, that's like the way this works. Sometimes people look at a comparison of an individual avatar and they're like, oh, that doesn't look like it. But it's not just about looking at the avatar. You have to look at it in its context. So, that this is Australia. They just attach everything to Antarctica, everything in the south, even though none of these things are actually attached. It's just part of their style. It's like Southern Africa, they attach to Antarctica. It's basically everything that points towards it and is kind of the southernmost part of its continent. They just attach to it. So Southern Africa, they attach to Antarctica. Australia, they attach to Antarctica. Malaysia, they attach to Antarctica. And this might be like southeastern Africa attached to Antarctica, basically. So yeah, that this is New Zealand, Papua, Sumatra, and probably Java, Kalimantan, and the Philippines. And so anyway, I've already like identified most of all these guys, other than still not entirely sure about these 4 figures here. I've seen some stuff they could be. I mean, it's probably something in the Canary Islands or in the or Cape Verde. Could be that this is from the Canaries, and that this represents the Canaries and this represents Cape Verde. But other than that, like, it basically identified all these. This, 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 this. This is, I forget what this thing is called. Some kind of southern island chain. You know, Shimshu and Paramushir, Iki and Tsushima, Taiwan and Penghu, Leizhou and Hainan. And then these are, I forget what they're called, the islands like flanking the southern tip of South America. So anyway, then, you know, I'm starting to move into these guys, because these guys are pretty difficult because they're just all kind of jumbled together down here. But so yeah, it seems like I got all these ones now in this last week or whatever, but I'm thinking that I might have got the rest of these now. And this guy just represents, I think, Antarctica. I mean, it could also be something more specific, but I think he might just somehow represent Antarctica as a whole. And this might be like the islands alongside the Antarctic Peninsula. That's my guess. So, you know, that's to give some context, which that British academic who emailed me definitely didn't understand any of the context of any of this. So that's why, you know, I think that this would be India. You know, this is Malaysia, that this part that sticks out of the mainland would be India, and then right next to it might be Sri Lanka, which is the island, the large island right off of the Indian coast. So that's you know, it would be that Jaffna Peninsula here, which is really an island, even though it's called a peninsula for some reason, would be, you know, of course, this would be this Manar Island, and so yeah, like that. His head would be Jaffna, and you know, it even seems to have a little indent in the nose, which could be like this little indent here or something. And then I'm guessing the horns are actually these things here, that it would be like this would be one horn, and maybe this would be another horn or something like that. That's what I'm guessing, because there's not a lot else that around there that could be the horns. So it's kind of reconfigured, but other than that, fits. And so some of the other ones I'm identifying, at least tentatively, that this would be, I mean, this one fits pretty well, so I think this is it. Is Kerguelen Islands, the French Antarctic, you know, southern Antarctic islands or something. So, you know, that this is the weirdly protruding horse butt, and then this is this, I guess that's a leg. So that would be this peninsula right there. And sometimes I think a little break in the coastline can signify an inlet. So that would be this inlet there. And then this shape represents this gulf or bay there. And you know, this indent here probably represents some part around here. The horse's head seems to represent some of these islands here that show the outline of a horse's head, I guess. And let's see what else we got. This one seems to be Madagascar. So, you know, I've had found one previously that could have been Madagascar, a 12,000-year-old painting from England, Cresswell Crags. That certainly fits shape-wise. As a zoomorphic Madagascar, but I may have found an anthropomorphic Madagascar. And it seems to be that in this map, and in a lot of these maps, the butt is often significant, like just like in the Antarctica maps of the Book of Two Ways, and just in, you know, the Pico of Azores and Iki and Tsushima and Shumshu and Paramashir. It's like the butt is actually understated in the avatar, but it's larger in the actual island in almost all these cases. So that basically, you know, he's a headless figure like some of these are, and they kind of use the continents as an excuse to make it look like his head is behind the continent or his foot is behind the continent, but really, as you can tell, they never painted it, so it doesn't really exist. So, you know, this is his butt, this is one of his feet, or one of his legs just ends like right there, basically that peninsula, and then his other leg is this, you know, his foot, his only foot is this part right here, which in the other one would be the ear of this animal, but and then it has this thing like coming off of its belt, or his belt, and that would be like this thing right there, which is that shape basically, even though it's lower down. So it's similar to the avatar in the Book of Two Ways for Nova Scotia and St. Lawrence, the Gulf of St. Lawrence. It kind of it changes the dimensions of the foot. In that one, the foot is Nova Scotia, and it shrinks it down. In this one, it actually expands it. So anyway, that's what this seems to be. And, you know, so this would be one shoulder, like right here would be this. So, I mean, and then this would be, I guess, here. So yeah, this shape up here is kind of fudged because they make it seem more indented than it is, or it's not really indented at all. Maybe this indent is something around here. But yes, that would be Madagascar. And this seems to be a map of a seamount, which is just this massive seamount, like plateau, underwater plateau, which may have been an island at that time. Who knows? Maybe this was like the island of Mu that was lost, of Lemuria or something, I don't know. But you can see that he has the really long snout and a really round head. And then a kind of front leg, I think, is this part. And then I'm guessing this part is here. Although it could be otherwise. It could be like this part is here and this part is here or something. I don't know. Seychelles. She sells seashells by the seashore. So that this would be, and Seychelles is here. So this would be, Madagascar throwing like a boomerang, I guess, hitting Seychelles in the head. And then I guess this is the boomerang continuing on. So that represents, like, I think this line is like this line right here of seamounts, and just this whole arc, I think, is represented by this configuration. This is Seychelles there. And then this at least fits fairly well for this. So this could be that kind of like boomerang thing. This one kind of fits for this, but although it seems like shrunken and upside down. So not entirely sure about this, but it may well relate to this. This is like a cool Superman island around there. Thought it was cool. Yeah, so there's Seychelles by the seashore. Madagascar. And this is the Andaman Islands, I believe. So that, well, this is not a good comparison. Well, let's see, I can do it. Just do it like that to cut off the side of it. But basically that the head of this horse is this thing here. The neck is like a kind of, peninsula that sticks out of the mainland there.